Good morning. I'm Barbara Stickler, the president of Branch 1100. As you've probably heard, the arbitrator issued a decision on our contract on January 10th of 2013. Now, with any contract, there are pros and cons. And we are still learning some of the details and will be headed to training on February 9th by the national officers. But let's discuss a few things. First off, what arbitration means. When we became the United States Postal Service back in the 70s, there was a mechanism put in place for our contracts. First, we tried to negotiate, and if that didn't work, we went to mediation. And if we were unable to reach an agreement with the mediator, then we went to fact-finding and binding arbitration. Binding arbitration is good and bad. The good news is we actually get a contract. Because if you talk to some of the other unions out there, teachers and firefighters, they would love to have binding arbitration. It forces the employer to finalize a contract. On the other hand, with arbitration, you have a third party, a neutral arbitrator, making the final decision, which rarely makes everyone happy. Overall, it's a good contract. The Postal Service came in wanting a larger non-career workforce, around 20%. They also wanted to cut our wages, do away with the cost of livings, and be able to contract out our work, as well as a two-tiered wage system for future employees. We were arguing against a backdrop of contracts negotiated by the APWU and an arbitrated decision for the contract for the rural carriers, which established the two-tiered wage system, pay freezes, and deferred cost of livings. We were also against the backdrop of Congress, who has not solved our cash flow issue over the last several years. So with this in mind, we'll go over a few things that the contract solved for us. For current employees, not much has changed. We're going to get a raise for the next 3 years every November, with the contract expiring in May of 2016. Our cost of livings, we're going to get 7 during the remaining life of the contract. The 2 calculated in 2013 are going to be deferred until 2014. The NALC wanted an all-career workforce. The arbitrator is converting all of the PTFs to regular by the end of the contract. The NALC has always wanted a full-time career workforce. And we've never liked a two-tiered wage system because we always believed that we should be making the same money for the same job. So the arbitrator agreed that all PTFs will be converted by the end of the contract. So by May of 2016, we'll have an all full-time career workforce. But he also still gave part-time non-career employees. But instead of remaining with the TEs or transitional employees we currently have, he gave us a new non-career workforce, a CCA. Now, this has caused a lot of confusion and anxiety because the TEs are being phased out by April 10th. And the CCAs are going to be the new category of employee. And when the Postal Service goes to hire career, they have to hire from the CCAs. So one of the things the NALC always argued for was a career path for the temporary non-career workers. Because some of our folks have been with us for over 5 or 6 years, doing the same job we do without the benefits or the opportunity to become a career employee. So the new CCAs will have the path to career. When the Postal Service goes to hire a career employee, they will hire from the CCAs. This means that everybody needs to get a test score on file and apply for jobs, and they're going to hire off the register, like when I hired in 25 years ago. and so they'll be hiring off the high score. The new CCAs will be starting at a lower salary, which is difficult for our transitional employees to swallow. But there is some trade-offs. There are some benefits that the CCAs have that the transitional employees don't. Besides the career path, starting in 2014, after a year of service, the Postal Service will be paying a part of the health benefits for the CCAs. There will be a uniform allotment for the CCAs, and seniority will matter. Right now with a transitional employee, if you annoy your manager, they could let you go. They could say there's no work available. Under the CCA program, if there's no work available and they have too many CCAs, management has to let go of the junior employee and keep the senior. So there's some security now for our part-time workforce. There is no two-tiered wage system like our fellow unions got. Our new employees are starting at a lower wage, but when they finish their step increases, they will be at the same spot the current employees are. They'll marry right into that wage scale, which is terrific, because this job is difficult enough without having people working at different rates of pay for their entire career. There's also no contracting out, which the Postal Service immediately put out as a negative to the contract. If you remember back about 5 years ago, the Postal Service started giving away our work. There'd be a new apartment complex that would go up, 700 deliveries, and they would give it to an outside contractor. They gave one to a gentleman willing to deliver 700 deliveries for $12,000 a year and no benefits. Had they been allowed to continue to contract out, we would have slowly seen the erosion of our work. But the arbitrator agreed. The sanctity of the mail is more important. And the fact that we are the most trusted government agency means something. And without having a career employee, someone actually hired and working under the Postal Service, you do not have that security of the mail. So there will be no contracting out during the life of this contract. So I want to thank the national officers for working out and arguing for the best deal that we could get under the very difficult circumstances that we were working under. As I said, we have training on February 9th, and we'll get some answers to a few of the details that are still a little murky. But if you have any questions, please check out our website, nalcbranch1100.org, or feel free to talk to your shop steward or call the office. Work safe through the winter season, and thank you.